Bonjour and welcome back to Paris Top Tips. If you're visiting Paris, you might be curious about French food, but wondering where to find an authentic experience without breaking the bank. That's where Bouillons come in. Bouillons are classic Parisian restaurants known for serving traditional French dishes at budget-friendly prices. They were originally created in the late 19th century as places where workers could get a quick, affordable meal. Originally, they mainly served a dish of beef cooked in a bouillon or broth, and it's this word, bouillon, that would come to define this type of restaurants. These spots offer the quintessential French experience, with dishes like œuf mayonnaise, bœuf bourguignon, escargot, and crème caramel, all in a lively, friendly atmosphere. Now, while Bouillons aren't what we'd exactly call haute gastronomie, the high-end, refined cuisine you'd expect at a Michelin-starred restaurant, they have a charm and authenticity that's hard to resist. They're perfect for travelers wanting a taste of real French food with classic French decor, but without the fancy prices. In this video, I'll be visiting 5 of the most popular bouillons in Paris, and I'll be ranking them based on 5 key criteria: location, food quality, price, decor and service. So if you're ready for some authentic Parisian dining, let's dive into the world of bouillon. We will start at Bouillon Chartier, the oldest in Paris, founded in 1896, located near the Grand Boulevard and classified as a historical monument. Bouillon Chartier is open every day of the year, from 11:30 a.m. till midnight, and offers continuous service without reservation. The long dining room has a beautiful Belle Époque architecture with a high ceiling. In this room have already been served more than 50 million meals. Every day, a new menu is printed. There are very classic dishes of French cuisine at extremely moderate prices. The average main is less than 10 euros. Every day, 6 menus are printed in English. Don't hesitate to ask for one. The wine list is relatively limited, and there's only one bottled beer available. Your order is written by the waiter directly on the disposable paper tablecloth. For this lunch, my friend and I both started with an egg mayonnaise. Only 2 euros on a mayonnaise to die for. Then she went for the oven-baked bream with green beans. While I tasted a pork sausage au couteau with excellent mashed potatoes. I know the French have a reputation for drinking wine at midday, but I settled for the only beer on the menu. At the end of the meal, the bill is also written on the paper tablecloth. We only paid 34 euros for good, if not excellent, very classic French dishes and 2 drinks. What a bargain! Overall, I like going to Chartier. Good food at very reasonable prices, and a wonderful atmosphere in this superb Belle Époque room. A restaurant has stood on these streets in the first arrondissement since 1832, but it wasn't until 2019 that Le Pharamond transformed into Petit Bouillon Pharamond. The setting has stayed the same, absolutely stunning and officially recognized as a historic monument, with decor from the Universal exhibition that features Art Nouveau woodwork and painted mirrors. What's changed, however, is the pricing, which has been significantly lowered to capture the accessible spirit of a bouillon. Like most bouillons, there's usually a line to get in, but since I arrived early, I only had to wait about 5 minutes. The main dining area here is relatively small compared to Chartier, but there's an additional room upstairs on the first floor. Let's check the menu in English. Prices are low, almost as low as at Chartier. And the same goes for the beverages, not expensive at all. I had a pint of beer for just €5.60. As a starter, I took the marinated trout with dill cream and lemon olive oil. The slices were thick, wonderfully moist, and absolutely delicious, as was the dill cream. Possibly the best starter I've ever had in a bouillon. And when it's that good, I make sure to mop up every bit. My main was a grilled chicken breast à la Normande, which means with mushrooms and cream and mashed potatoes. It was delicious as well, with a tender chicken breast and creamy, buttery mashed potatoes. For dessert, I chose the panna cotta with mango and passion fruit sauce. It was decent, but not as memorable as the other two dishes. €26.90 for such an enjoyable meal, including a pint of beer, definitely a fantastic bargain. I have to say I enjoyed this meal better than the one at Chartier. And remember, service is always included in French restaurants. If you really enjoyed the service, leaving a tip of €2 to €3 per person is a nice gesture. So if you're looking for a great budget-friendly spot right next to the Marais neighborhood, now you know where to head. The Bouillon Racine was created in 1906 by the Chartier family, who already owned Bouillon Chartier. To differentiate it, the family called it Grand Bouillon Camille Chartier, as it is still written on the facade. but people rapidly got into the habit of calling it Bouillon Racine, since it is located on Rue Racine, in the Saint-Germain neighborhood. The front of the building, as well as the Art Nouveau decoration of the room, allowed its classification as historical monument in 1995. Tonight, with my wife and friends, we will dine upstairs. I think the decor in this room is absolutely stunning. Some food for thoughts before the food for the body. Just ask for a menu in English and here it is. You can choose between 3 menus, a 2-course lunch exclusive menu at €19.50, a 3-course menu at €35 and the kids menu at €14.50. You can also choose to go à la carte and select your favorite dish. The prices are in line with the typical Parisian restaurant average. While Bouillon Racine may carry the Bouillon label, its prices don't quite reflect the usual budget-friendly nature of a bouillon. As you'll see, the food here is also more refined and elaborate than what you'd find in a traditional bouillon. The wine list is interesting here, but as I was driving, I preferred to have a beer. We all four decided for the same starter from the €35 menu, a crème du Barry, cauliflower soup with truffled ham. My wife's main, braised beef chuck steak with glazed carrots. She loved it. My main, pork ribs glazed with honey and lemon, creamy mashed potatoes. That was really excellent too. My French choice, chicken breast from Normandy, black trumpet mushrooms and vegetables. For dessert, opera cake, which consists of layers of almond sponge cake soaked in coffee syrup, layered with ganache and coffee French buttercream, and covered in a chocolate glaze. Then the dessert of the day, strawberry tiramisu. My choice, Île Flottante, floating island, with roasted hazelnuts. My favorite dessert. In total, we paid €41.40 each, a really good value considering the quality of the meal and the wonderfully decorated restaurant, but clearly not a usual bouillon price. My hosts had never been to Bouillon Racine before, but they loved it and praised me for the choice. It's definitely a lovely restaurant in the area, but calling it a bouillon feels a bit misleading. A true gem of Art Nouveau, Bouillon Julien opened its doors in 1906 and is undoubtedly one of the most beautiful restaurants in Paris. Beautiful, delicious, and affordable. That's the restaurant's motto. I completely agree on the beautiful part, but the real question is, will the food live up to the hype? And will the prices be as reasonable as those at Bouillon Chartier? Let's find out. When it comes to prices, they're about 10 to 20% higher than at Chartier, with the eggs mayonnaise being a whopping 70% more expensive. But still, they are really bouillon prices. The same goes for the beverages. In fact, the prices here are much closer to those at Petit Bouillon Pharamond. Interestingly, the company that owns Bouillon Julien recently acquired Bouillon Pharamond. I told you, the decor is stunning. As usual when I eat alone, I had a beer. I opted for the egg mayonnaise to compare them to those at Chartier. Here's where the price difference shows. At Chartier, you get just one egg with the standard mayonnaise, while here you get 1.5 eggs with a flavorful herb mayonnaise. A special mention goes to the bread. It was excellent. As you can see, I went for the same main as at Chartier. While Chartier's mashed potatoes were a bit tastier, the best being at Pharamond, the sausage here was definitely superior. For dessert, I indulged in a delicious chestnut cream, paired with a wonderfully tender meringue.
I didn't have a good memory of Bouillon Julien. The last time I came, it was very average. But today, I admit it was above my expectations.
€24.80 for a full meal and a beer, with honestly very enjoyable food. That's excellent value for money. For once, I disagree with the rating on TripAdvisor. This place is definitely worth at least a 4 out of 5. This bouillon is one of Paris' most famous, located on Place Pigalle at the southern limit of Montmartre. Unlike the 4 other bouillons of this video, Bouillon Pigalle is nothing historic. It was opened in 2017. However, the address is a must to enjoy, not for its atmosphere, far from being as authentic as that of its other colleagues, but because it succeeds quite well at reproducing early 20th century culinary traditions. I went there very early for lunch, that's why no one is queuing there. But beware, that changes very fast, and it's better to make a reservation. And if you are in the waiting line, then at least you'll have time to enjoy the menu in 8 languages: French, German, Italian, Japanese, Spanish, English, Portuguese, and Chinese. While waiting for my friend, I took the opportunity to take a look inside. We are certainly not in a pretty Art Nouveau setting like the 4 other bouillons, but it's okay. Bouillon is a famous baker in Paris, renowned for providing the best restaurants. Finally, my friend arrives. we can now go upstairs to have lunch. In summer, it's a pleasure to be seated under these arcades. Let's have a look at the English menu. Egg mayonnaise, snails, onion soup, very traditional indeed. And it's the same for the main courses, with one of my favorites, bœuf bourguignon. For almost all drinks, you have the choice between 6 different capacities. Bœuf bourguignon is a French beef stew braised in red wine and beef stock, typically flavored with carrots, onions, garlics and a bouquet garni. My friend Najiro took the braided fish with tartar sauce and French fries. Both meals were good. He then continued with a simple yet tasty strawberry pie, while I took my personal favorite, the île flottante with praline, a dessert consisting of meringue floating on crème anglaise or vanilla custard. That was a simple meal, typically French, and which didn't really cost us much, as you will see. Something different here than in the other Bouillon is they have a click and collect service with some of their most classical dishes. So, how much did we pay? €35.20 for 2 mains, 2 desserts and a large bottle of water. What a good bargain. And you can pay using Apple Pay or Google Pay. On TripAdvisor, a Canadian lady summarized it well. Although it will never have a Michelin star, Bouillon Pigalle is a very good value for money. So if you're staying in Montmartre, or even a bit further away, give it a go. This time, I think the rating on Google is a bit overrated. As you can see on my map, marked in blue, there are 3 other Bouillons in Paris. However, I didn't include them in this video as they are sister restaurants of 2 Bouillons we've already tried. Bouillon République is part of the same group as Bouillon Pigalle, while Bouillon Chartier Montparnasse and Bouillon Chartier Gare de l'Est, as their names suggest, are sister restaurants of Bouillon Chartier. So what's the best Bouillon in Paris? Let's break it down by category. For location, Bouillon Pigalle takes the top spot, with Bouillon Racine a close second. Bouillon Julien, on a less charming street, comes in last. As for decor, Bouillon Racine is my winner, with its stunning Art Nouveau style and bar. Bouillon Julien and Pharamond tie for second with beautiful interiors, while Bouillon Pigalle ranks 5th due to its rather plain decor. When it comes to food quality, Bouillon Racine and Julien lead the way, while Chartier and Pigalle, though decent, come in last. The service is consistently friendly and efficient across all Bouillons. They need to be quick. But Bouillon Pigalle left me with the least favorable impression. Lastly, in terms of price, Pigalle and Chartier lead with their budget-friendly pricing. Bouillon Racine, while decorated like a bouillon, leans more toward a traditional restaurant in terms of menu and prices. All in all, my top choice is Le Petit Bouillon Pharamond. With good food, beautiful decor, a pleasant neighborhood and friendly service, it delivers everything you'd expect from a bouillon. My least favorite is Bouillon Pigalle, though in the end, they all rank fairly close to one another. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it helpful. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't yet. It really helps me creating interesting and useful videos on how to make the most of your time in Paris. See you in another video!